Midnight rain slammed against the windshield as blue and red lights tore through the darkness. Keisha's hands gripped the steering wheel so tight her knuckles turned white. She'd only slowed down to fix her GPS. But that was enough for them. 2 patrol cars boxed her in, tires screeching on wet asphalt. A voice thundered from the loudspeaker. "Step out of the vehicle now." Her heart pounded so hard it drowned the rain. She blinked through the glare, confused. "Officer, what did I—" "Don't talk." "Out!" "Hands where we can see 'em." The moment she opened the door, cold water splashed across her legs. One officer, a tall white man with a smirk, snatched her wrist before she could even close her umbrella. "Thought you could outrun us, huh?" he barked. "Outrun? I didn't even—" "Shut your mouth." A second cop joined, yanking her purse away and dumping it into a puddle. Her hospital ID badge slid out. Keisha Brown, registered nurse. The man sneered. "Oh, a nurse? Look at that. Must be nice thinking you're above the law." She flinched as the handcuffs bit into her wrists. The metal was freezing. "I didn't do anything," she gasped. "You fit the description," he muttered. "What description?" "The kind that talks too much." They shoved her toward the cruiser. She stumbled, nearly falling into the mud, her heart racing as she saw the dashcam light blinking red. Her voice trembled. "Please, can you tell me why I'm being arrested?" The first officer leaned close, his breath hot with tobacco. "Because we can." The back door slammed, locking her in. The rain outside muffled the sound of her breathing. Through the fog window, she saw her car still running, headlights pointing nowhere. It didn't matter that she'd worked a double shift at the hospital. It didn't matter that she'd never even had a parking ticket. None of that mattered when her skin spoke louder than her words. Inside the cruiser, the radio crackled. "Suspect in custody," the driver said. "Black female, mid-20s, transporting to Wilkes County Jail." The other officer chuckled. "Another one? That place will be full by sunrise." Keisha's throat tightened. She whispered to herself, barely audible, "This can't be real." The driver looked back through the cage. "Oh, it's real, sweetheart. Welcome to Alabama." The car pulled away, tires slicing through rainwater. Streetlights flickered like dying stars as the road disappeared behind them. Each flash of lightning showed a reflection, eyes wide, face pale, drenched in fear. And yet, somewhere deep inside that fear, something shifted. Not just terror, anger, the kind that doesn't fade. The kind that remembers every word, every bruise, every silence forced on you. If this already made your blood boil, hit like and subscribe right now, because stories like this are still happening and the world needs to hear them. The morning before it all happened, it felt like every other one in Keisha's life. She just finished a 12-hour night shift at Mercy General, yawning as sunlight crept through the hospital windows. Her scrub smelled faintly of antiseptic and coffee. Exhausted but proud, she signed the last patient chart and smiled at her coworker, Aaliyah. "Another life saved," Aaliyah said, bumping her shoulder. Keisha laughed softly. "Another cup of coffee owed." She'd always believed hard work kept trouble away. Her mother used to tell her, "Baby, stay humble, stay focused, and the world will respect you." But the world she walked into that day had other plans. Outside the hospital, the Alabama air was thick and heavy, the kind that clings to your skin. She slipped her ID badge into her bag, unlocked her old gray sedan, and started the engine. The radio hummed low, gospel music mixing with thunder far away. She had one simple goal: get home, take a shower, call her little brother before he left for college. Traffic was light. She stopped by the corner diner for takeout pancakes, waved to the same white cashier who always called her sweetheart. Nothing unusual, nothing to warn her that by midnight she'd be in handcuffs. Back home, she kicked off her shoes, tossed her keys on the counter, and fed her cat Luna. Her apartment was small but clean, one plant by the window, one framed photo of her mother in a nurse's cap. She sat on the couch and checked the news. Another headline about police misconduct. She sighed and turned it off. "Not today," she murmured. Hours later, thunder rolled in. The power flickered once. She decided to visit her friend Jada across town, someone who could always make her laugh. She threw on a red hoodie, grabbed her purse, and hit the road before midnight. The rain began halfway through the drive, fat drops hammering the windshield. Wipers squeaked. Streetlights blurred into gold ribbons. She slowed down, cautious, careful, the way her mom taught her. That's when she saw the flashing lights in the mirror. For a split second, she thought it was just an ambulance. Then came the siren's wail, sharp and demanding. She pulled over, heart thumping, rolled down her window, and reached for her license with steady hands. She'd done nothing wrong. She believed that mattered. But when the second car skidded up behind her, blocking the lane, something inside her twisted. One flashlight, then another, voices shouting through the storm. Out of the vehicle now. She barely had time to breathe before her door flew open. The rest, the mud, the cuffs, the cold words, blurred together. Now, sitting in the back of the police cruiser, drenched and shivering, she replayed every moment of that quiet morning, trying to find a mistake. Had she driven too slow? Smiled too long? Existed too proudly? The car jolted as it turned down a gravel road. The rain had stopped, but dread filled the silence. Through the glass, she saw a sign illuminated by the headlights, Wilkes County Jail. Her pulse quickened. She whispered, "Mama, keep me safe." But the gate closed behind her like a mouth swallowing the night. The metal doors of Wilkes County Jail clanged shut behind her with a sound that felt final. The air inside was thick with bleach and something older, something that smelled like fear. Two guards led Keisha down a corridor lined with flickering lights. One of them, a stocky white man with a buzz cut, walked so close she could feel his breath on her neck. The other chewed gum loud enough to echo. "Name," the first one barked. "Keisha Brown," she answered softly. Louder, "Keisha Brown." He smirked. "You sure about that? Y'all got so many names these days." The gum chewer laughed. Keisha clenched her fists, the cuffs biting her wrists. She wanted to speak up, but every instinct screamed not to. She'd seen too many stories end badly. They took her belongings, phone, wallet, ID badge, and dumped them into a tray. Her nurse uniform clung to her skin. A female officer shoved a faded orange jumpsuit at her. "Change. Now." Keisha looked around for privacy, but the woman only crossed her arms. "Here," she asked. The officer's lips curled. "Ain't nobody here trying to see you, sweetheart." She changed, cheeks burning. The fluorescent light buzzed overhead like a warning. When she stepped into the holding area, everything looked gray. The walls, the floor, the faces. A few women sat silently on benches, eyes downcast. One murmured a prayer. Another stared at nothing. A tall man in uniform entered. His boots were polished, his badge gleamed. The tag read Sheriff Mason Hargrove. The room fell quiet. He moved slow, deliberate, like someone who owned every inch of space. His eyes stopped on Keisha. "New intake." "Yes, sir," the female officer replied. Traffic stopped. Refused to comply. "That's so." Hargrove stepped closer. He looked her over, from her wet hair to her trembling hands. "Where you work?" "Mercy General Hospital." He chuckled, low and cold. "A nurse? Must think that makes you special." "I just help people," she said carefully. His smile vanished. "Then maybe you can help yourself understand how this place works. You talk when spoken to. You move when told. You breathe when permitted. Understood?" She nodded, lips pressed tight. "Good," he said, eyes narrowing. "Because I don't like troublemakers. And something tells me you got a mouth that forgets its place." The other officers chuckled. Keisha looked away, jaw tight. They assigned her to Block D. "Temporary holding," they said, but the stench of mildew and hopelessness clung to every corner. A woman sat on the top bunk, humming a hymn. She looked to be in her 50s, her skin the deep tone of history itself. "You knew," she said softly. "Don't talk too much tonight." Keisha hesitated. "Why not?" The woman's eyes flicked to the hallway. "They don't like questions after lights out." That night, Keisha lay awake on the thin mattress, counting every sound, the creak of boots, the rattle of keys, the distant cry of someone being dragged down the corridor. Then came another noise, wheels squeaking, metal rolling. A cart? It stopped somewhere nearby. A door opened. Silence. Then faint crying. "Please, no, I didn't do anything," a man's voice replied, calm and chilling. Neither did she. Keisha's chest tightened. The humming woman whispered from above, "Don't look. Don't move." The crying stopped. The wheels rolled again. Keisha lay there in the dark, eyes open, fear pulsing through every heartbeat. The humming started again, shaky, broken, but steady. She turned her head toward the ceiling and whispered to herself, "I won't die here." And for the first time since the arrest, she meant it. If this happened right in front of you, what would you do? Tell me in the comments. I read every one. And if you want justice as much as I do, hit subscribe. The next morning, the sound of keys woke Keisha. Her eyes were heavy from a night of half sleep and fear. The humming woman from the top bunk was already sitting up. "You'll get used to that sound," she whispered. "It means they're coming." 2 guards appeared, barking orders for roll call. One of them, a blonde woman with cold blue eyes, pointed at Keisha. "You, medical check." Keisha frowned. "I'm not sick." "Not your call." They led her down a narrow hallway that smelled of damp concrete and disinfectant. The clinic's at the end, a small room with peeling paint and a humming refrigerator in the corner. A nurse in a spotless white uniform glanced up without smiling. Her badge read Nurse Parker. "Sit," Parker said flatly. Keisha obeyed. The nurse strapped a band around her arm and drew 2 vials of blood. "Routine screening," she muttered. "Screening for what?" Keisha asked. Parker didn't answer. She labeled the samples, placed them in a tray, and scribbled something on a clipboard. "You'll be fine." "Can I at least know?" The nurse's eyes snapped up. "You'll be fine." Back in her cell, Keisha's mind raced. The humming woman. Tracy. She finally learned her name, watched her closely. "They took your blood," Tracy said quietly. "Yeah, they said it's routine." Tracy shook her head. "It ain't. They don't do that for everyone." Keisha sat on the edge of her bunk. "What do you mean?" Tracy hesitated, lowering her voice. "Every few weeks, they pick someone for tests. Then that person's gone by sunrise. Gone. Transferred, they say. But I've never seen one come back." That night, Keisha couldn't rest. The sound came again. The metal cart, the rolling wheels, the faint click of a door down the hall. She froze. "Who's on duty?" someone whispered. "Joe and Carter," another voice replied. Keisha held her breath. Hours later, when the corridor finally fell silent, she whispered to Tracy, "You said they'd disappear. How do you know?" Tracy stared at the ceiling. "Because they tried to take me once. But I was sick that night, real sick. Fever saved me." The next day, Keisha asked one of the younger guards, a quiet man named Rick, for extra soap during chores. As he handed it over, she met his eyes. "You've seen it, haven't you?" He hesitated. His gaze flicked to the camera above. "Keep your head down, Miss Brown," he whispered. "You don't want to end up in the clinic again." Her stomach nodded. The truth was there, hiding in every silence, in every nervous glance. Whatever they were doing, it was big, dark, and organized. That evening, as the lights dimmed, Keisha found a scrap of folded paper on her bunk. It had only 3 words, written in shaky handwriting. "Check the freezer." She looked up, heart pounding. Tracy was pretending to sleep. The guard were gone. The air felt colder now. Something inside her clicked. Fear turning into purpose. Whatever secret this place was built to hide, she was going to find it. Rick found her sweeping near the laundry room the next morning. The hall was empty except for the buzz of an old light overhead. He didn't speak right away, just kept his head down while pretending to check a clipboard. "You shouldn't have asked about the freezer," he muttered. Keisha froze mid-sweep. "Then it's real?" Rick sighed, glancing at the security camera. "Everything's recorded here, except what happens in that clinic. You didn't hear that from me." She looked at him, eyes steady. "People are disappearing, aren't they?" He didn't answer, but the silence was enough. That night, she whispered the truth to Tracy. The older woman rubbed her tired eyes. "Girl, you're gonna get yourself killed." "I need to know what they're doing," Keisha said. Tracy leaned forward. "Then you'll need proof. There's a vent behind the storage room. Lead straight to the clinic hall. But if they catch you, you vanish." Keisha waited until after lights out. The hallway was quiet except for the hum of a generator. She slipped off her shoes, crouched by the vent, and loosened the screws with a bent spoon she'd hidden in her sleeve. Cold air brushed her face. She crawled through darkness, heart hammering. The smell of chemicals grew stronger with every inch. Through the slits ahead, she saw the clinic. The nurse was gone. Only a soft blue glow from a refrigerator lit the room. She dropped quietly, landing on her hands and knees. Her palms hit the cold tile. She stood and pulled open the fridge door. Inside were labeled blood bags, each tagged with inmate numbers. One of them had her name. Her breath caught. A sound behind her. Footsteps. She spun around. Rick stood in the doorway, holding a flashlight. "I told you not to," he hissed. "You knew," she shot back. "You knew what they're doing." He looked torn, jaw tight. "You don't understand. Sheriff Hargrove runs this place like his own business. The women they take, they match blood types with rich clients." Her stomach twisted. "They're selling organs?" Rick nodded. "Bodies. Identities. Whatever pays." Keisha felt dizzy. "Then help me stop it." He hesitated. "You can't, but maybe you can expose it." He reached into his pocket and handed her a tiny recording device no bigger than a coin. "Keep it hidden. It uploads automatically if you say the word truth." She clutched it tight. "Why are you helping me?" Rick exhaled. "Because my sister disappeared here 5 years ago." The lights flickered. Voices echoed from down the hall. Rick stepped back. "Go. Now." Keisha slipped into the vent just as the door burst open. She crawled fast, metal rattling under her palms, her mind spinning. Back in her cell, she pressed the device under her pillow and whispered, "Truth." A soft beep answered her. For the first time, she had evidence and a reason to believe justice might actually find its way into these walls. The next day crawled by an unbearable silence. Keisha's heart pounded every time a guard passed her cell. She'd hidden the recorder deep inside her mattress, praying no one searched. Across from her, Tracy watched with worry carved into her face. "You got that look," Tracy whispered. "The kind that gets you noticed." Keisha forced a small smile. "Then I'll move fast before they do." That night, rain returned, soft at first, then pounding, masking every sound. When the last patrol faded down the hall, Keisha slipped out. Rick was waiting near the laundry bay, keys in hand, eyes sharp but nervous. "This is insane," he muttered. "Then you picked the right partner," she whispered back. They moved through dim corridors, shadows slicing across the floor. The clinic door loomed ahead. Rick swiped his card. Click. Inside, the refrigerator hummed. Same cold glow as before. Keisha's breath fogged the air. She turned on the recorder and whispered, "Truth." She opened one freezer drawer and gasped. Inside, a young black woman lay motionless, a medical tag still around her wrist. Not dead, not alive, eyes half open, chest barely rising. "Dear God," Rick muttered. They didn't even close or wound. Keisha leaned closer, trembling. "She's breathing. We can't leave her." Rick hesitated. "They'll kill us both if she's one of us." Keisha cut in. "We're getting her out." They lifted the woman onto a gurney, covering her with a blanket. A voice suddenly echoed from the hall. "Sheriff Hargroves, you think I don't smell rebellion? I built this place on silence." Rick's hand shot to his gun. "Go!" They burst through the clinic door, pushing the gurney down the corridor. The alarm blared, red light spinning. Guards shouted, boots hammering against concrete. Bullets cracked through the air. "Left!" Rick yelled. Keisha ducked as glass shattered beside her. They reached the generator room. The only exit that wasn't on camera. Rick swiped again, but the light flashed red. Locked. Keisha's eyes darted to an oxygen tank beside the wall. Without thinking, she kicked the valve and rolled it toward the door. Duck! She fired Rick's gun. The explosion ripped the steel loose from its hinges. Smoke filled the hall as they dragged the gurney through. Sirens wailed, lights flickered. The building shook. Through the haze, Keisha saw a ladder leading to a maintenance hatch. Up there, she shouted. Rick climbed first, pulling the woman after him. Keisha followed, lungs burning, hands bleeding. Behind them, Hargrove's voice roared over the intercom. You think anyone will believe you? The world doesn't care about girls like you. Keisha looked up toward the faint moonlight breaking through the hatch. Then I'll make them care, she whispered. They burst into the open night, rain washing over them, alarms fading behind. Freedom. For a second, the air tasted alive again. Rick pointed toward the trees. There's a van. We run. They ran, mud flying, thunder cracking, the rescued woman moaning weakly as they reached the fence. Rick cut through the wire with trembling hands. Keisha looked back one last time at the prison lights. You buried too many voices, she whispered. But tonight, they'll be heard. They vanished into the storm, carrying proof of everything the world refused to see. The storm had quieted by dawn. Mist hung low over the trees as the van rumbled along the back roads, headlights slicing through the fog. Inside, Keisha sat beside the rescued woman, pressing a damp towel against her wrist. The girl's pulse was faint but steady. Rick drove in silence, eyes bloodshot. Her name's Lina, he finally said, glancing at the ID tag. She was listed as transferred last month. Transferred to where? Keisha asked. He shook his head. Nowhere real. They reached a small cabin hidden deep in the woods, its windows covered, generator humming softly. A woman in her 60s opened the door before they even knocked. Beth, an old nurse who owed Rick a favor from years back. Beth took one look at Lina and said, Get her inside. Now. For the next hour, the cabin filled with the sounds of medical work. Tubes, machines, whispered prayers. Keisha helped hold Lina steady as Beth cleaned and stitched the half-healed incision. The older woman didn't ask questions until it was over. What in God's name are they doing down there? Keisha's voice trembled. Selling people, using them like parts. Beth's jaw tightened. Then it's time the world saw. Rick opened the van door and handed Keisha her bag, the one taken during intake. Inside was her hospital ID, cracked phone, and the tiny recorder still blinking red. Everything you said last night, he whispered. It's uploaded. Keisha stared at him. Uploaded to where? The bureau. I said auto transfer. Once you said the trigger word. They have it now, audio, video, all of it. For a moment, the weight she'd been carrying slipped from her chest. She felt the first real breath of freedom since the night of her arrest. By sunset, news alerts flooded every channel. Whistleblower exposes illegal organ ring inside Alabama prison. Sheriff Hargrove under federal investigation. Dozens of missing women found alive. Keisha watched the television in silence, tears streaming down her face. She wasn't sure if they were from relief or rage, or both. Tracy's words echoed in her mind. They don't bury us, they harvest us. Not anymore. Days later, Keisha stood outside Mercy General Hospital again, wearing clean scrubs, eyes tired but defiant. Reporters shouted questions. Cameras flashed. One asked, "What message do you have for others afraid to speak up?" She looked straight at the lens, voice steady. Fear is what they count on. Truth is what they can't survive. She turned, walking toward the doors, leaving the cameras behind. Inside, the same gospel music played faintly over speakers, the same song she'd heard the morning before everything changed. Only now it sounded different. It sounded free. She paused at the nurse's station, looking out the window toward the rising sun. "Mama," she whispered, "I made it." For the first time in a long time, she smiled. If you believe this should never happen again, share this now. And to my USA, UK, and Canadian viewers, your voice is power. Use it.